The story begins within the Lingxiao sect, where a young man named Tang Lingxiao resides. He has spent 100 years in training in asceticism in pursuit of immortality. 60 of those years were spent in meditation and studying the Tao, and he was finally ready to move on to the next stage. After completing his training, Tang Lingxiao felt satisfied, a confident smile spreading across his face as he announced the completion of his cultivation. When Lingxiao emerged from his seclusion, he felt a surge of great power and declared himself ready to face the minor heavenly tribulation and ascend to the immortal realm, astonishing those around him. His appearance stirred excitement among the other disciples, who expressed their admiration and saw him as a role model. At that moment, someone called his name Lingxiao, prompting him to turn calmly toward the voice. As he turned, Lingxiao was surprised to find his master, Fang Qingyuan, and the sect's vice leader, Yi Xuanshan, present. He asked them, puzzled, why they had come, despite him previously telling them there was no need to accompany him. His master advised him to be extremely cautious in facing the 99 heavenly tribulation, emphasizing the danger of this divine ordeal. He explained that this tribulation required enduring 99 strikes of heavenly lightning, as per the teachings of the previous sect leader. However, Tang Lingxiao paid little heed to the warning, displaying immense confidence, and saying he was not worried about the tribulation. At that point, the vice leader intervened, warning him against arrogance and recklessness, to which Tang calmly replied that he understood the warning well. He then left the place in a dramatic manner before the onlookers, promising them that he would ascend to the immortal realm within just 3 years. A full 100,000 years passed, and Tang Lingxiao was still being struck by heavenly lightning. In that moment, Tang expressed great anger and frustration, noting that others usually endure this tribulation for only 3 years, while he had been suffering it for 100,000. The lightning continued to strike him repeatedly and intensely. Lingxiao realized that his tribulation was extraordinary and unnatural. He acknowledged that a stronger tribulation typically leads to greater advancement afterward, but it made no sense for the ordeal to last 100,000 years. Even though the heavenly lightning had nearly wiped out his spiritual energy, it had also greatly strengthened his body. In a moment of deep awareness, Lingxiao began to suspect that his overly powerful body might have been specially prepared as a vessel for someone else. He realized that someone was trying to take over his body. With courage and defiance, he resolved to confront this scheme and fight back with all his strength, declaring that whoever was trying to exploit him had chosen the wrong person. Tang fiercely challenged anyone seeking to control him, ready for whatever confrontation awaited. The heavenly lightning struck once more, but this time, Lingxiao appeared as he absorbed and resisted it. Despite the lightning's power and the difficulty of enduring it, Lingxiao managed to absorb it without his body exploding. He clearly understood that thanks to being continuously struck by heavenly lightning for such an extended time, he had gained the ability to tame and refine this divine tribulation for his own benefit. Suddenly, the heavenly lightning ceased and vanished, astonishing Tang Lingxiao, as he immediately realized that someone had noticed his ability to tame the lightning and quickly cut off the opportunity from him. Lingxiao vowed that the person responsible would never find peace until he hunted them down and killed them, declaring that only then would his heart find true peace. After the battle with the heavenly tribulation ended and he realized that someone was conspiring against him, Tang Lingxiao decided to return to the sect to reassure everyone that he was still alive. However, as soon as he moved, he lost control and crashed violently to the ground, creating a deep crater. He rose, coughing and exhaling smoke from his mouth, visibly affected. Lingxiao felt intense anger and frustration upon discovering that his qi was completely filled with heavenly lightning, rendering him unable to use his spiritual energy. With no other option, he began using the heavenly lightning itself to build a new foundation for his power. The attempt succeeded, and he started to feel happiness and pride as he was truly able to use the heavenly lightning to reshape his spiritual energy. However, this immense lightning power was dangerous and needed to be refined slowly and with great caution, or it could backfire disastrously. Lingxiao decided to preserve what remained of his current power, so he wouldn't lose it entirely, then chose to travel on foot. After a full month, Lingxiao arrived at a city called Lingjing, which was in a state of unrest and conflict. He saw a battle raging between two individuals in the sky, while he sat calmly observing the scene, and remarking that the world was no longer the peaceful place it once was. While he was eating, he expressed his gratitude to someone who had brought him food, saying he was happy just to speak with someone again after such a long time. The person who brought him the food was a girl who gently told him that he was the first stranger she had ever met, and that there was no need to thank her. Lingxiao felt a sense of fondness toward her and decided to give her something as a reward for her kindness, expressing that he felt spiritually close to her. He gave her a jade pendant, and the girl looked at it with surprise and asked what it was. Lingxiao explained that if she ever faced danger in the future, she should break the pendant, and he would come to help her immediately. The girl didn't entirely take his words seriously and smiled, telling him she didn't need his help, though she admired the beauty of the pendant and would keep it. Lingxiao realized she didn't fully believe him, but he didn't mind, thinking that her disbelief would reduce the trouble he might face. The girl then warned him of the danger in the city, pointing out that the person fighting in the sky was extremely powerful, and that the city might be completely destroyed today. But Lingxiao replied indifferently that he didn't see anything special about the man and didn't think he was that strong. The girl found him intriguing despite how different he seemed, and reminded him that he was still just a normal person and shouldn't speak arrogantly. Internally, Lingxiao noted that the girl probably thought he was an ordinary man because her spiritual abilities hadn't fully developed yet. He then responded by confidently mentioning the name of the city's former lord, Lan Yun'ao, saying the situation would have been safer if he were still around. The girl replied sadly that Lan Yunao had died 30 years ago. Ling Xiao was shocked by the news and dropped his food in disbelief. The girl told him he needed to leave the city immediately, saying that the current governor of the city wasn't even a tenth as powerful as Lan Yunao. Her words struck Ling Xiao deeply, and he sadly realized that even someone as powerful as Nao had passed from this world. He reflected with sorrow and depth on the vast changes that had taken place in the world over the past 100,000 years. At that moment, a powerful explosion struck the city again, causing massive destruction. One of the fighters emerged from the rubble, coughing heavily, clearly exhausted and drained from the force of the explosion that had just occurred. The events continue in Lingjing City, where the red-haired attacker, Fang, demanded the core of the former city lord, Lan Yunao, in exchange for sparing the city from destruction. Fang looked at Aling, who stood firmly in refusal, and expressed admiration for her bravery. At that moment, from a distance, another girl appeared, the current city lord, shouting in great annoyance at the noise and disruption of the battle. The city lord swiftly leapt into the battlefield, asking Ailing to leave the fight to her. Ailing tried to warn her that her body might not withstand such a difficult battle, but the city lord insisted and firmly ordered her to lead the citizens to safety. Fang mocked the city lord, saying she was far weaker than Lan Yunao and looked sickly and powerless. The city lord didn't respond with words, only a confident gaze, saying he wasn't even worth replying to, then declared that protecting the city was her duty and responsibility. She launched her assault with immense spiritual energy aimed at her opponent. Her strike was so powerful that Fang expressed thrilled excitement, saying he had finally found someone worthy of fighting. She charged at Fang with all her strength, launching a surprise attack, but he easily blocked her initial strike. The city lord continued attacking with rapid speed and a series of successive combat moves, forcing Fang to retreat slightly under the pressure of her onslaught. But Fang recovered and unleashed a massive, fiery, and devastating attack in an attempt to overpower her. She quickly responded with a swift and powerful strike that shattered the ground around him, and the blow successfully pushed Fang back and damaged his defenses. Despite the strength of the sudden attack, Fang stood again and expressed deep admiration for the spiritual power in her eyes, which he recognized as the heavenly spirit flower eyes. Fang then launched a counterattack with immense destructive force, attempting to end the battle quickly in his favor. The city lord couldn't endure the sheer power of the attack and was greatly affected, showing clear signs of exhaustion and fatigue. At that moment, Fang mocked her and her sword technique, calling it utterly unimpressive. Nearby, Aling was trying to evacuate people, but she saw Ling Xiao calmly watching the battle without fear. She shouted at him in concern, urging him to come with her to a safe place, but he appeared indifferent and commented that the fighter's skills were fascinating. Ailing was surprised by his reaction, his lack of fear, and his disregard for the danger. At that moment, they both witnessed a massive explosion in the sky, and Ailing anxiously wondered whether the city lord had been defeated. Ling Xiao asked her who the man the city lord was fighting was. She responded, surprised he didn't know Fang, explaining that he was Fang Lingxiao from the Lingxiao sect. He was infamous for collecting the cores of deceased fighters, and had destroyed many sects, being a ruthless man who only cared for himself. Lingxiao's expression changed immediately as he realized the enemy belonged to his former sect. Aling then advised Lingxiao to leave the city quickly because it was no longer safe. She turned to look for Lingxiao, only to find he had vanished without a trace. The events continue as Fang once again demands that the city lord hand over Lan Yunao's core in exchange for sparing her life. The city lord appeared in critical condition, coughing and bleeding heavily. Yet she firmly refused his request, declaring he was dreaming, which enraged Fang. Fang threatened her with the deadly nature of his weapon, saying it would turn into sharp shards that would pierce her from the inside if it entered her body, describing this fate as worse than death. Meanwhile, the city lord silently wondered in pain and despair if this was truly the end. Suddenly she remembered Tang Lingxiao's words about the pendant, and how breaking it would summon his help. She questioned why she was thinking of him now, considering he was just an ordinary human. While Fang noticed a strange spiritual energy emanating from her, Fang decided to kill her first, and then search for the core himself. Suddenly Fang was struck by a powerful surprise attack that blasted him away with immense force. The city lord was shocked by the strength and intensity of the explosion, while a cloud of dust rose before her. She wondered in amazement whether Lan Yunao's bloodline was truly this terrifyingly powerful. Tang Lingxiao appeared, calmly explaining that he had decided to intervene to repay Lan Yunao for a favor long ago, and added with a smile that he also owed her for offering him food. Tang said coldly that, at this moment, he had a personal score to settle with the one calling himself Fang Lingxiao. Fang rose angrily, mocking the interference of another human in the battle, and threatened to kill him for not knowing his place. The city lord noticed Fang's ears and exclaimed in shock that he was of the demon race, which had vanished tens of thousands of years ago. Tang Lingxiao calmly asked why this demon had assumed Fang Lingxiao's identity and was stealing inner cores. The demon laughed mockingly and said there was no need to pretend anymore now that he had been exposed. He then revealed his true identity as Lang Tian, a blazing demonic wolf from the realm of spirit kings, and promised to unleash his true power. The city lord felt intense terror from the overwhelming spiritual pressure of the demon as he revealed his real power. But Tang Lingxiao remained unfazed and insistently asked why he impersonated Fang Lingxiao. The demon ignored his question and sneered, saying Tang was merely a high-level body cultivator, a type of fighter that could never surpass the spiritual infant stage. In an instant, the demon vanished from his place, and appeared directly in front of Tang Lingxiao, asserting the vast difference in their powers and comparing it to the distance between stars. But Tang Lingxiao replied with icy calmness, stating his next move without hesitation or fear. Lang Tian grew furious at Tang's cold attitude and told him he had only one chance: either kneel before him and beg to learn the reason for the impersonation, or defeat him in battle to get the answer, sarcastically adding that the chance of winning was absolutely zero. In a burst of rage, the demon launched a massive attack, but Tang Lingxiao struck him with a swift, decisive blow, sending him flying and crashing violently into the ground, stunning and shocking the city lord. The demon reappeared after the attack, coughing and visibly shaken from the power of Tang's strike. After Tang Lingxiao delivered his powerful strike to the demon, he stood confidently, mocking him and saying he could have just told him to defeat him to get the truth from the beginning, without all the unnecessary talk. At that moment, Tang Lingxiao and the city lord stood amidst the rubble and rising dust, surrounding them on all sides. The city lord tried to warn Tang Lingxiao about the terrifying power of the demon and advised him to flee, saying he had likely concealed his true strength earlier. But he calmly and confidently responded that there was no need to worry, as dealing with him would be simple. At that moment, the demon became furious and shouted at Tang Lingxiao that he had finally managed to anger him, then launched a massive assault from above, sending a devastating fiery strike toward Lingxiao. The city lord cried out in alarm, trying to warn Tang of the incoming danger. The demon's attack triggered a powerful explosion in the area, sending Tang Lingxiao flying backward amidst the blazing flames. The city lord was stunned by the terrifying fire, noting that even the residual effects alone were nearly unbearable for her. In those moments, she felt she would fail to fulfill her father's final wish and silently apologized to him for her failure. She was barely able to stand against the flames. Amidst the fire, the girl was overwhelmed by despair and recalled her father again, apologizing for not being able to fulfill his last wish. For a moment, she imagined her father coming to take her away and believed she had already died, reaching out to take his hand in her mind, expressing how much she missed him. But Tang Lingxiao appeared in front of her, alive and without serious injury, and admitted that he had underestimated her and that her power was no less than that of her father, Lan Yunao. The city lord was stunned to see Tang completely unharmed despite the devastating attack he had just endured. Tang then turned to her with a smile and said they'd postpone the discussion about their future relationship, as he first wanted to give her a luck gift while the demon was busy showing off. Meanwhile, the demon wondered whether the city lord had vanished or burned to ashes, but suddenly he heard a loud scream as she lunged at him at great speed through the smoke. He didn't take her attack seriously, thinking that her weak strike wouldn't even crack his protective shield, but she managed to strike his head with tremendous force, shocking him. The powerful blow inflicted a deep wound and knocked him far away. The demon Lang Tian was bewildered. How could she injure him despite his strong spiritual armor? He questioned with disbelief how a mere human woman could harm him like that. At that moment, the demon realized that those with the heavenly spirit flower eyes typically cannot absorb spiritual energy, and if they try to cultivate forcefully, their bodies weaken rapidly. But he explained that when their spiritual energy is fully depleted, they can suddenly absorb energy from others at a terrifying rate, especially from spirit beasts with pure energy, such as a demonic flame wolf. The demon was utterly shocked and questioned how Tang Lingxiao could possibly know such a secret. He turned to find Tang standing in front of him, exuding great strength and confidence. Suddenly, the city lord screamed in embarrassment, warning Tang that he had lost his pants during the battle. After the city lord pointed out that he had lost his pants, Tang Lingxiao calmly replied that a true warrior should not concern himself with trivial matters like that. He then walked steadily toward the demon and firmly asked him why he had impersonated Fang Lingxiao, promising to let him live if he answered truthfully. The demon stood with difficulty as Tang warned him that if he continued like this, his soul core would be completely drained. The demon admitted he had underestimated Tang greatly, but he added defiantly that Tang had underestimated him as well. In a burst of fury, the demon revealed his true form and immense power, unleashing his destructive fiery energy. The flames burst out with such ferocity that the city lord had to shield her eyes from the intense light and fire. Elsewhere in the city, the warrior Ailing was leading the citizens, urging them strongly to flee and get far away from the battlefield as quickly as possible. But she and the people with her were suddenly shocked by a terrifying sight in the sky, where the demon appeared in his true form as a giant flaming demonic wolf surrounded by massive flames. The scene instilled overwhelming fear in everyone's hearts, and the city lord was astonished, while Tang Lingxiao calmly observed the unfolding chaos amid the fire. The demon mocked them, calling them insects, and saying he would enjoy watching the expressions of despair on their faces. In the city now engulfed in chaos and panic, the citizens began kneeling and begging the demonic wolf for mercy, calling him the Lord of Wolves. But their leader, the warrior Ailing, grew furious at this display and called them a disgraceful bunch. The demonic wolf arrogantly turned to address Tang and the city lord, asking them if they now felt despair after witnessing his true form. The city lord was stunned, wondering how such a powerful magical beast could even exist before her eyes. But Tang was unfazed by the terrifying beast's appearance and mocked him, saying all he had done was grow a bit bigger, calling it nothing more than a flashy show. He then turned to the city lord and scolded her sharply for her continued shock, saying she was giving the demon a chance to look impressive. The demon felt furious that he was still being belittled and decided to finish them off for good. He launched a massive fiery attack toward them, shouting at them to die, and declared in rage that he would reduce them to ashes. Amidst his devastating attack, he continued referring to them as insects. Suddenly his attack stopped as he pulled back in shock and terror. Tang had appeared in front of him in a colossal, awe-inspiring form, towering over him and radiating terrifying power that shook the entire area. The city lord was utterly stunned, asking in disbelief and fear what her eyes were even seeing. Meanwhile, the citizens noticed Tang's massive, towering figure, and a wave of stunned confusion swept through them as they wondered if they were really looking at a naked man. In the next moment, Tang delivered a crushing blow to the demon with tremendous force, sending the demon crashing to the ground under terrifying, overwhelming pressure. Even the demon himself described it as a fearsome force. After Tang Lingxiao delivered a powerful blow that left the demon in a dire state, he continued his assault mercilessly. At that moment, the demon screamed in surrender, begging for mercy and promising to tell everything if Tang spared his life. Suddenly and unexpectedly, Tang felt a sharp pain and blood spilled from his mouth. Tang quickly retreated as the spiritual energy inside him began to spiral out of control again. He felt frustrated that the energy he had drained from the demon wasn't enough to suppress the heavenly lightning within him. He clearly realized that he wouldn't be able to fully use his power unless he managed to convert all the heavenly lightning inside him into true cultivation energy. Meanwhile, the city lord approached and asked worriedly if he was all right and what had happened to the demon, while Tang was deep in thought, realizing that for now, he could only rely on the power of his soul. Tang Lingxiao calmly replied that he was fine, pointing his hand toward the demon's location and saying, "He's over there." The city lord looked over in surprise and saw the demon had become tiny and weak, pleading for mercy. Tang explained that this was his true form, just a small demonic wolf. He then picked up the unconscious little wolf by the scruff of its neck, mocking his weakness and fear. The city lord noticed the awkward situation and suggested that Tang come to the city lord's palace to get new clothes. Tang declined and told her he could create clothes directly using a spirit stone. The city lord searched and handed him one, but Tang was deeply puzzled by how small and weak it was in spiritual energy, surprised that she only had one, despite being the city lord. She replied nervously and in disbelief that this mid-grade spirit stone could buy an entire city in this era, and explained that the celestial bridge between Earth and the heavens collapsed 10,000 years ago, causing spiritual energy to dry up across the continent, and no one had been able to ascend since. Tang was deeply shocked and wondered anxiously if he had caused the collapse of the celestial bridge 10,000 years ago. The city lord explained with sorrow that the spirit stone mines were now controlled by the three great sects, and she could only obtain one stone every 3 years due to their extreme rarity. Suddenly, the little wolf interrupted their conversation and tossed a large pile of spirit stones toward them as an apology, then attempted to flee at high speed. The little wolf sped off in fear of what might happen if he stayed. But Tang quickly intercepted him with a mocking smile, asking if he really thought he could escape that easily. The little wolf was terrified by his sudden reappearance. Tang struck him with a direct and powerful blow, leaving the wolf stunned by the suddenness and force of the attack. Tang then looked at the wolf calmly and said he was now more interested in learning his true identity and story after that desperate escape attempt. After they returned, Tang sat quietly in the palace and firmly asked the little wolf who had ordered him to collect energy cores and impersonate Fang Lingxiao. The little wolf began to speak with sadness and unease, admitting that his real name was Lang Tian and that 5 years ago, he left his clan without permission to train, but was then pursued by a woman. In his memories from 5 years earlier, Lang Tian was fleeing in a panic through the forest. He angrily wished he had never gotten involved with that mysterious woman who caused him so much trouble. Lang Tian tried to use his power to attack the woman, but was shocked when his power failed. A powerful woman wrapped in a purple aura appeared before him, mocking his speed and running away, and advised him to surrender willingly. Lang Tian felt frustrated and anxious, wondering why this was happening to him. After all, he had only teased her a little. The story continues with the mysterious woman who appeared before Lang Tian, scolding him and saying that men are deceivers. She questioned whether all his sweet words were just lies. She gave him a clear order to use the name Fang Lingxiao and collect 10 inner cores from Spirit Saint-level cultivators within 5 years, promising that she would return to claim them at the appointed time. Lang Tian tried to resist strongly, refusing to follow her orders, but she revealed with a sly look and mocking smile that she had planted a lethal curse inside his body, and if he disobeyed her commands, he would die. Back in the present, Lang Tian broke down as he explained to Tang Lingxiao that this was the true story of what had happened to him. Everyone was shocked by what they heard, and the city lord said in astonishment that tearing space itself was impossible. Even legendary spirit saints couldn't do that. Tang Lingxiao felt deep concern and anxiety as he instantly realized that the woman was from the upper realm. Lang Tian confirmed this in fear and panic, saying there was absolutely nothing he could do against a woman from the upper realm. He added that he believed a noble man like Tang would understand his situation. But Tang replied coldly and sarcastically, asking if he really understood who was standing before him, that he wasn't just some honorable man helping others. Lang Tian became visibly tense and cautiously asked, with utmost politeness, about Tang's true identity. Tang confidently replied, Fang Lingxiao of the Lingxiao sect. Both Lang Tian and the city lord were utterly shocked upon hearing the name. Lang Tian quickly began begging for his life, saying he was willing to do anything for mercy. Internally, Lang Tian realized the woman's real plan. She wanted him to impersonate Fang Lingxiao so that the real Fang Lingxiao would kill him. That way, the real Fang would be unable to prove his innocence, and Lang Tian would vanish without a trace. Tang approached him and calmly said he was very lucky, because Tang had decided to spare his life. He ordered him to serve him from now on as compensation for all the trouble he had caused. Lang Tian thought to himself that perhaps serving Tang could be his chance to escape the control of that crazy woman, even if it meant completely losing his freedom. Tang gave him a cold look and said he had only 2 choices: serve him or die. Lang Tian quickly surrendered and swore by his Dao heart to serve Feng Lingxiao as his master from that moment forward. Then Tang calmed down and quietly said that was what he wanted to hear. He asked the city lord, Lan Ge, to help him activate the teleportation array, as he wished to return to the Lingxiao sect. The city lord cautiously told him that spirit stones were extremely rare due to the spiritual energy shortage, and the array wouldn't work, even with Lang Tian's help. Tang asked if she could at least determine the location's coordinates, and Lan Ge confirmed that she could. He then asked her to give him the coordinates immediately, and began thinking about something surprising. Tang told Lang Tian that he was leaving now and ordered him to stay put and behave. Lang Tian was puzzled and wondered to himself why Tang would leave so suddenly like that. Suddenly, Lang Tian felt a familiar energy that made him tremble with fear, and he screamed in his mind that it was the same energy. Tang looked upward and immediately realized that the woman Lang Tian had sensed was now present. At that moment, the woman began speaking to Tang with intense mockery, saying that he was supposed to have died from the heavenly tribulation. Now, she claimed, he was powerless and had no reason to remain alive, and she told him not to bother returning to the Lingxiao sect, as it would be meaningless, leaving Tang Lingxiao visibly puzzled. The mysterious woman continued provoking Tang Lingxiao by displaying the core of his former master, mockingly saying that he must be on a journey to find him now. She then continued in a taunting tone with a wicked smile, saying that this was his master's core, and that he died smiling while whispering his name before death. Her words ignited a wave of intense fury within Tang Lingxiao, and his eyes burned with rage. Tang launched himself at her with incredible speed, attacking with overwhelming power and violence. The woman was stunned by his unexpected speed and strength. Her arm was severely wounded and began bleeding heavily. Tang landed after the forceful assault, stirring up a storm of dust around him. The woman couldn't believe the terrifying speed he had shown, wondering how he could move like that when his spiritual energy should have been destroyed by the heavenly tribulation. But Tang didn't care, and with cold confidence, said he had identified her true identity due to her rapid recovery and precise knowledge of rune arts. With a mocking smile, Tang confirmed her identity. She was the venerable immortal Su Linglong, who had used forbidden spells and sacrificed her entire sect in order to ascend to the upper realm. He added with deep fury that her sect had over 10,000 members, meaning he would need to kill her 10,000 times, and swore to show her what it meant to be torn apart piece by piece. Su Linglong laughed at his threat and called him nothing more than a lucky fool, saying he was exaggerating too much. Tang ignored her mockery and adjusted his clothing, calmly commenting that he couldn't allow his clothes to be torn again. He then coldly challenged her to show him the power of someone from the upper realm. Suddenly, spell seals appeared and instantly bound him. Su Linglong arrogantly explained that her spell contained the power of upper realm laws, and in his current state, he shouldn't be able to move at all. She then threatened him, saying if he didn't answer her questions truthfully, his body could explode. But Tang Lingxiao ignored her threat and suddenly charged at her with immense speed, terrifying her, as she wondered aloud whether he was truly daring to attack her. In his sudden assault, Tang easily broke through the restrictions imposed by her spell. Su Linglong was shocked and screamed, asking how her spell, backed by upper realm laws, could possibly fail. She immediately tried to retreat and escape upon realizing Tang couldn't fly due to his lack of spiritual energy. But Tang had anticipated her move and quickly used the earth wall technique to block her. Su Linglong scoffed at the technique, thinking him a brute with no combat skill for using a basic earth-based move. But she was completely shocked when the earth wall rose with immense force and size, far beyond her expectations. She stared at the earth wall in disbelief. As she stood in shock, Tang appeared behind her, coldly asking why she seemed so distracted. Then he charged at her, shouting and warning her not even to think about running. Su Linglong grew furious and prepared to fight, exclaiming that he was an annoying man. The two exchanged extremely powerful blows in an intense battle, each trying to overpower the other. Tang's attack pierced the earth wall with enormous force, causing a violent explosion. Elsewhere, far from the battle, Lan Ge felt a powerful tremor and wondered about the source of such intense vibrations. The demonic wolf decided to go investigate the matter outside, while instructing Lan Ge to continue her work. After the little wolf witnessed the fierce battle between Tang Lingxiao and the mysterious woman, he considered taking advantage of the moment to quietly escape. Even though he had sworn loyalty to Tang, he hadn't promised to stay with him forever. However, he quickly abandoned the idea after seeing the sheer scale of destruction caused by Tang in the fight, feeling deep fear of his new master's power. Meanwhile, Tang Lingxiao continued his ferocious assault, tearing through the woman's spells with ease. She tried using powerful incantations to suppress and control him, but Tang was so fast that he broke through them, using only his physical body, without relying on any spiritual energy, leaving her completely stunned. Tang realized that she wasn't using her divine abilities, and that this was merely an external manifestation, not her real body. The woman, on the other hand, realized why her superior was so interested in Tang's body, which could defy rune laws with ease. Tang decided there was no point in torturing her, since she was just a physical replica. At that moment, the woman shot upward into the sky, trying to escape, but Tang unleashed a terrifying sword strike toward her, even from an extreme distance. The woman was shocked and cried out, questioning where such sword power came from. Enraged and feeling belittled, she vowed to show him her true power. But Tang gave her no chance to respond, delivering a decisive blow with a sword infused with the power of law itself. The woman was struck with immense shock when she realized his attack carried the power of law, and her physical replica was instantly destroyed. Before vanishing completely, the woman smiled and realized Tang must be one of the people associated with that woman she had spoken of, saying that now it all made sense. As she faded away, she laughed and promised to wait for Tang in the upper realm. Tang replied with total confidence, saying not to worry, he would indeed come, to destroy them all. Then Tang examined the energy core she had with her and quickly realized it was fake, and that everything had simply been a test to provoke him and confirm his strength. After the battle ended, Tang returned to the palace, where the city lord, Lan Ge, had just managed to locate the coordinates he had asked for earlier. Tang was surprised to see the little wolf next to him and asked with amusement if he really hadn't run away. The wolf flattered him, saying he was a Fire Sky wolf, known for their unwavering loyalty, and that he would never dare to betray him. Lan Ge handed the coordinates to Tang, curiously asking how he planned to reach such a distant location. Tang calmly told her that he had his own method of getting there. He admitted that the place was indeed far, but now he knew its exact position. He then told the little wolf to follow him. The wolf eagerly agreed with visible enthusiasm, ready to depart with him. Lan Ge offered to prepare a special beast-drawn carriage to make the journey easier, but Tang politely declined, saying he had his own means. Before setting off, he told her to continue training hard and never grow lazy. Then suddenly, Tang grabbed the little wolf by the neck, startling and confusing him, and launched into the sky at incredible speed with the wolf screaming in shock and fear. As they flew rapidly, Tang expressed great delight, saying he had wanted to try this method of travel for a long time. Tang Lingxiao finally returned to the Lingxiao sect, announcing his arrival with a clear voice and evident confidence. At the sect's entrance, Tang warned the little wolf to stay silent and not reveal their true identities. The little wolf appeared confused and hesitant, distressed by the sect's deteriorated state compared to how it once was, hoping they wouldn't blame him for it. Tang noticed the wolf's unease and reassured him that there was no need to worry. He wouldn't hold him responsible for what had happened to the sect. Suddenly, Tang heard a voice demanding he stop immediately. A girl appeared in the sky to block his path, having assumed he was from the Spirit Beast sect due to the spirit wolf with him. The girl introduced herself as Yi Qingyao, acting head of the Lingxiao sect, and angrily declared that she would not back down from confronting him. Tang remained calm and smiled politely, explaining that she had misunderstood him. He said his name was Fang Ling, just a wandering cultivator who had heard of the greatness of the Lingxiao sect in the past and came to join out of respect. Yi Qingyao was deeply surprised and puzzled by his sudden desire to join the sect. But suddenly, Yi Qingyao lost control of her sword, which seemed to move on its own, causing her to cry out in frustration and panic. The sword knocked her down from the sky, leaving her helpless to stop herself. Tang noticed her falling and moved at incredible speed to save her before she hit the ground. He caught her gently and landed softly, saving her from a dangerous impact. He then asked her quietly and kindly if she was all right. Yi Qingyao was extremely embarrassed by the situation and jumped away from him quickly, trying to regain her composure. She pretended that she was just testing his strength, attempting to hide her embarrassment behind a nervous smile, and told him he had passed the test and could join the sect. She formally welcomed him, expressing admiration for his speed and strength at the spirit origin stage, especially since the sect was in dire need of strong individuals. Tang was confused by her statement, as he believed he was still at the foundation establishment stage, so he asked in surprise what this stage was. Yi Qingyao was shocked at his lack of knowledge and asked in disbelief how he had even managed to cultivate at all, without knowing this. Tang replied calmly with a smile, saying he came from a very small clan and had barely managed to cultivate this much. Yi Qingyao explained that the foundation establishment stage was a very ancient one. A great calamity occurred 100,000 years ago, destroying the celestial bridge and causing spiritual energy to collapse. Since then, cultivation methods had changed. Tang feigned surprise with a smile and asked her about the modern cultivation stages now in use. Yi Qingyao clearly explained the modern cultivation stages, starting with the spirit formation stage, which focuses on gathering spiritual energy into the inner core, followed by the spirit origin stage, where spiritual energy stabilizes and the body strengthens. Then the spirit core stage, where the inner core transforms into a spiritual infant, enabling flight and divine senses. And finally, the spiritual infant stage, the peak of personal cultivation, qualifying one to establish a sect or rule an entire region. She also explained that spirit kings are extremely rare, while saints and spiritual lords are incredibly scarce, with terrifying power capable of destroying entire worlds with a mere gesture. Internally, Tang felt the shocking and immense difference in power levels compared to the past, realizing that the world of cultivation had entered an age of decline. At the end of their conversation, Yi Qingyao politely asked Tang to return her weapon before ascending the mountain. Tang looked at the weapon with admiration and smiled, saying it contained a very powerful spiritual force. Yi Qingyao proudly agreed and said with a smile that she had obtained it through a stroke of good fortune, then invited Tang to come with her to the mountain. After Tang Lingxiao received Yi Qingyao's weapon, and while they were heading to the sect, the little wolf asked if he intended to deal with the being inside the sword. Tang replied that there was no need for that at the moment, and decided to observe it first. On their way, Tang noticed a large bird flying overhead, then turned to Yi Qingyao with feigned surprise, and jokingly asked if she was going out for a picnic today. Yi Qingyao turned to him with anger and annoyance as a man named Li Feng appeared before them, and she asked sharply why he was there. Li Feng spoke with obvious arrogance and asked if she was here to pay the management fee imposed by his older brother Li Haotian in exchange for their protection and oversight. At the same time, Tang felt completely confused and baffled upon hearing the term management fee. Yi Qingyao grew furious and shouted that she had made a clear decision. She would no longer pay any fees. Li Feng ignored her declaration and turned his attention to Tang Lingxiao, saying that he noticed he had a talented firewolf with him and invited him to join the Spirit Beast sect instead of staying with the declining Lingxiao sect. Tang and the little wolf were both surprised when they heard him refer to the wolf as a fire wolf, and the wolf was irritated by the odd label. Yi Qingyao grew even angrier and drew her weapon, shouting that she wouldn't allow him to insult them and steal her sect's disciples. Li Feng, now furious, ordered his spirit beast, the Storm Eagle, to teach Tang a harsh lesson. But the eagle showed extreme fear and anxiety, refusing to obey Li Feng's orders, which shocked and confused him. The little wolf gave the eagle a threatening look that struck fear into its core. Li Feng tried again to force the eagle to attack, but the beast continued to refuse, increasing his confusion and concern. In the end, Li Feng had no choice but to retreat with his eagle, angrily vowing to return. Yi Qingyao was surprised by their sudden withdrawal and wondered aloud why they left like that. Tang stepped in with a smile and told her that it was obvious. They fled because of her terrifying aura, making her wonder in amazement if that was really the case. Yi Qingyao was easily convinced and proudly believed her 3 years of training had yielded impressive results, while the little wolf whispered to Tang that the sect's decline might not be entirely her fault. Suddenly they heard a voice from above yelling, asking what Yi Qingyao was doing there. Yi Qingyao smiled brightly upon seeing her older brother Li Haotian approaching. He descended and began walking toward them, asking, in concern, where the Spirit Beast sect members who were there had gone. She replied confidently that they had fled after sensing her strength, then began to introduce the new disciple she had recruited, referring to Tang. But Li Haotian interrupted her seriously, asking her to explain exactly what had happened. Yi Qingyao proudly and happily recounted what occurred, how she refused to pay the fee, how they tried to attack her, and how they fled in fear of her power. She added confidently that the Spirit Beast sect members were just bullies, and she had always hoped her older brother would put them in their place from the beginning. But Li Haotian didn't wait to hear the rest. He quickly flew into the sky, leaving her behind. She shouted in astonishment that she hadn't finished introducing the new disciple. Yi Qingyao wondered in confusion why her brother was in such a hurry, especially since she hadn't yet introduced Tang. But she soon decided not to worry about it, and turned to Tang with a smile, saying she would take him to the sect now. Meanwhile, Li Feng was extremely angry over how the Storm Eagle had acted, furiously calling it a stupid bird that had completely embarrassed him. He vowed that when he returned, he would ask his father to send people to slaughter them all, and decided to replace the eagle with another spirit beast due to its cowardice. At that moment, Li Haotian appeared from afar and called out to him, asking him to wait, which puzzled Li Feng as he wondered what his brother wanted. Li Haotian quickly caught up with Li Feng and stopped him, speaking in a friendly tone with a nervous smile, saying that he had come specifically to apologize on behalf of his younger sister. But Li Feng replied coldly, saying he would report the matter to his father, and that it was up to him to decide what action should be taken. Li Haotian tried to calm things down, saying it was all just a small misunderstanding, and there was no need to trouble his father. Li Feng, feeling clearly arrogant, was told by Li Haotian that he could earn his forgiveness if he truly wanted it. Li Feng asked what the conditions would be for that to happen. With a sly smile, Li Haotian requested that the girl, Yi Qingyao, destroy her cultivation base herself, bring all of Lingxiao sect's possessions, and personally apologize. Li Feng then threatened him with smug confidence, saying that his grandfather had already mastered the laws and could completely bypass the contracts of Heavenly Will, urging him to think carefully before making a decision. He laughed loudly, mocking Li Haotian's boldness, saying it was no wonder he had become more daring lately. But Li Haotian's expression shifted to one of extreme seriousness. He told Li Feng that, regardless, he was still nothing but a fool, and asked mockingly if being allowed to live wasn't enough for him. At that moment, Li Haotian's entire demeanor changed, and a killing intent appeared on his face. He coldly informed Li Feng that if he was going to ruin his plans, then he would have no choice but to kill him to buy more time. Li Feng was terrified and became extremely nervous, trying to threaten Li Haotian with his father's power, hoping to stop him from doing anything reckless. But Li Haotian ignored his words and used a soul-searching technique to uncover the truth behind what Li Feng had said. After confirming that Li Feng was telling the truth, Li Haotian realized the seriousness of the situation and that he needed to leave the Lingxiao sect as quickly as possible.